In the stillness of the night, a woman's painful cries sent chills through Suda's body. Whose voice is that? There aren't any patients in the hospital tonight, and that room, it's always locked. Logically, Suda knew there couldn't be anyone in that room. But her heart whispered something else. With trembling steps, Suda moved toward room number 9. As she reached the door, she peered inside through the small glass pane. There was no one there, and just as she arrived, the crying suddenly stopped. Startled, Suda turned to leave, but then, bang, bang, bang! She heard loud thuds on the door, someone banging it violently from inside. Suda froze in terror. "Who's there? Who is it?" she asked, her voice shaking. And suddenly she heard a woman wailing, crying and screaming in agony. On one side, the door kept banging. On the other, the eerie cries of that mysterious woman echoed. Panicked, Suda ran toward Dr. Raghav's cabin, but then she saw something that stopped her in her tracks. A woman stood outside Raghav's cabin, dressed in a black cloak, staring directly at Suda. "Who are you? What do you want?" Suda demanded. The woman pulled back her hood. Her face, it wasn't a face at all. It was a blurry, ash-like shape, so terrifying that Suda screamed and collapsed. As soon as she screamed, that horrifying figure dissolved into the air like smoke. Dr. Raghav rushed out of his cabin, hearing her scream. "What happened, Suda? How did you fall?" "Doctor, someone was here, just now. I saw her. She turned to ash and vanished in thin air." "Oh, come on. Who would be here? You know nobody from this village comes to the hospital for treatment. We've spent the last 10 nights alone here. Who could possibly be here this late?" But what Suda had seen, she couldn't unsee. "Doctor, please believe me. I saw her with my own eyes, and didn't you hear a woman crying earlier? I heard her crying clearly, and when I went to room 9, the crying suddenly stopped." "This place is surrounded by dense forest," Raghav replied. "Maybe it was the sound of some wild animal. Don't panic. I think you need rest. I'll take care of any patients tonight. You go get some sleep." Suda left the hospital and began walking toward her room nearby, but then she heard footsteps behind her. She turned around, and a sudden gust of wind rushed past her. Black ash flew straight into her open mouth. Her eyes turned pitch black for a moment, then, just as quickly, returned to normal. She went to her room and lay down to rest. The next morning, Nurse Suda and Dr. Srishti arrived at the hospital. For the first time, villagers brought in a patient, a boy about 14 or 15 years old. "Doctor, please, look what's happening to my son. His body turned blue all of a sudden. He's unconscious. We've tried everything. Now it's up to you." "Don't worry, I'll do my best," Raghav assured them. He admitted the boy, Dinesh, and began treating him with the help of Dr. Srishti. "Srishti," Raghav said, examining the boy. "There's no sign of a poisonous bite, and it doesn't look like he ingested anything harmful either. Then what happened to him?" "I'm not sure," Srishti replied. "For now, let's keep him under observation overnight. If we don't figure it out by morning, we'll refer him to the city." That night, Raghav and Srishti were on duty. Late into the night, Dinesh's unconscious body suddenly began to move, like a living corpse. He sat upright on his bed. Srishti gasped. "Lie down. Let me check you. Are you all right?" She placed her stethoscope on his chest, but in the next moment, Dinesh shoved her violently across the room. "Dinesh, what are you doing? Are you okay? I'll call your parents." Srishti, still seeing him as a patient, looked into his eyes, and a chill ran through her body. His eyes had turned completely black. emotionless, like a corpse risen from the grave. Suddenly, the old tube light in the ward began flickering. The air filled with the stench of mold. "What is happening here? Dinesh, what are you doing? How can this even be possible?" Dinesh turned and glared at Shrishti. He raised his hands toward her neck and began walking forward. Shrishti screamed for help when suddenly Nurse Sudha entered. She grabbed Dinesh by the neck and slammed him into the wall. Dinesh collapsed. Blood trickled from his head. What happened next? Shrishti couldn't believe her eyes. Sudha dropped to all fours like a wild animal, crawled to the unconscious boy, and began licking the blood from his head. Shrishti watched in shock, frozen. Then, as if possessed, Sudha twisted Dinesh's arm and ripped it clean off his shoulder. Even as a doctor, the sight made Shrishti lose consciousness. She awoke sometime later to find Raghav beside her. "Shrishti, what happened? That boy, how did he die? And where did Sudha go?" Shrishti burst into tears and told Raghav everything. He was in disbelief. Raghav was the only child of a wealthy businessman. He could have lived a luxurious life, but he chose to become a doctor, dedicating his life to serving the needy. His father had plans to build a grand hospital for him, but Raghav had other plans. Are you really sure, Raghav?" Shrishti had once asked. "You want to treat tribal people in a remote village? You're a gold medalist. You could earn millions in any top hospital." "If I wanted money, Shrishti, I would have joined my father's business. I want something more meaningful from life." "I've seen many people talk big, Raghav," she replied, "but you're the only one who's actually giving up everything to live in the wilderness." "Don't be sad, Shrishti," Raghav had told her. "I respect your feelings, but please, don't wait for me. I won't be coming back." They had completed their post-graduation together just 2 years ago. But now, Raghav had chosen a different path. He wanted to serve people who had no access to medical care. "But why this tribal village, Raghav?" Shrishti had asked him. "I've heard these people don't trust hospitals or medicine. They treat everything with their old traditional methods. I'm worried for you." "You're overthinking. There's already a hospital there. It just needs a little work." Raghav was in love with Shrishti, but he knew if he wanted to fulfill his mission, he had to break this emotional bond. He arrived in a small tribal village nestled in the hills of Jharkhand. After exploring the area, he approached an elderly man. "Uncle, can you guide me to the government hospital?" The old man looked at him coldly. "Why would you go there? That's not a hospital. It's a place of death. Whoever goes there ends up worse than dead. Go back. Never look that way again." Raghav was stunned. Why would anyone say that about a hospital? He brushed it off and made his way toward the old, ruined building. A broken board read, "Government Hospital." "Thank God this is it," he said. "But it looks like no one's been here for decades." Next to the hospital was a small government quarters. Raghav cleaned it up and made it livable. After several days of effort, he managed to restore a few rooms in the hospital. One day, a vehicle arrived outside the hospital. Inside were Dr. Shrishti and Nurse Sudha. "Raghav," Shrishti said, "we've decided to join you. We'll run this hospital together." But a question still haunted her. Why this place, Raghav? Why here? "Some questions," Raghav said, "never let you live in peace. I've had strange dreams since childhood. I saw this hospital in those dreams. I even asked my father if we had any connection to Kundanpur. He always denied it, but I had to come. I feel a strange connection to this place." Shrishti didn't want to leave Raghav, so she brought Nurse Sudha and joined him in Kundanpur. "What will we tell the villagers?" Shrishti said. "That boy was our responsibility. They already don't trust modern treatment. If they find out a nurse from our hospital killed their child, they won't let us leave alive." "I have an idea," Raghav said. "We'll seal the body and tell them the boy died from a deadly infection, one that could spread just by touch." Just as Shrishti suggested, Raghav explained the situation to the village chief. "I think the doctor is right," the chief agreed. "Dinesh didn't seem normal. We'll seal his body in a box and cremate it without touching him. We cannot risk a disease spreading." The villagers believed them, but Raghav and Shrishti were left with more questions than answers. What really happened to Nurse Sudha? Why did she kill Dinesh? Where did she disappear? And what is the secret behind this cursed hospital? Is Sudha possessed by something evil? Will Raghav and Shrishti ever escape this nightmare? To find out, don't miss the next part of this story.